Welcome, guys. Tony Porter, Tabletop Baseball Digest, and this is my end of year channel update, state of the channel. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about what I've been up to. And if you've noticed, I have not been streaming or putting up a lot of recordings, and that's because I've been fairly busy on several different levels. One, I've been recovering from my surgery, so I've been really focused on that aspect, my physical aspect, and also I started a new job. And the transition from one job where you've been at for a while to a new challenge sometimes is invigorating, but it also requires focus. It requires you to kind of step outside of your comfort zone. So I've been really kind of involved in that, and I have been playing probably a game a day, a game a night, and it's late at night, so trying to avoid making noise, late at night. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and I'll play a game. And so Saturday, it's a New Year's show, and what I've been up to basically in terms of rolling dice is 1973. There's a great league. It's an inside pitch league, and it's the Liberty League, and it's run by Rick, and it's an excellent league, so you should check it out. It has a website. You can look the Liberty League Fat Elvis website, and you go there and you can find the contact information for everybody if you're interested in signing up to be a future manager, owner, whatever you want to call a general manager. It's a great league. It's 54 games. You get X amount of dollars. You get involved in an auction. You pick your team, and you get 3-year contracts with a possible extension of a 4th year. I'm encouraging the league to go to a potential of 5 and 6 year extensions on X amount of players, not on everybody, but definitely 3 to 5 players, just so you can build your team through the draft versus having to lose everybody and start, on an auction level every few years. And the case is that sometimes there are players that take 2 years to develop. And if you pick that player, now he sits in your minors for 2 years, and then now you're only going to have him for 2 years, and then you lose him automatically. So I'd like to be able to kind of build a strong minors by having, a few players in the minors, and then having the potential of extending them to a 5th year and to a 6th year, so you can have a strong minor league, and then you can have players within your organization, coming up without having to go up against people, in crazed, bidding wars for certain players, certain big name players all the time. You can kind of have them in your, so it would be a much more kind of chill and relaxed atmosphere where you're playing for the long run versus just to win today, which is an approach that people are welcome to take, and people do use that approach. But I think it's good to have a balance of approaches. People that just want to hang around and develop their minors, and then eventually and compete every year versus all or nothing, right? So anyway, check out the Inside Pitch League, the Liberty League, the Fat Elvis website. So if you search Fat Elvis Liberty League site, you'll definitely find it. And there's always potential for expansion, or always potential for a new owner. I don't know the state of affairs right now because that's not totally my focus. But anyway, so let's look at what we're doing and what we've been doing. Playing 1973 Fall Classic Baseball. I decided I was going to replay the Mets season, and the Mets competed in the first replay that I had, and then it was the middle of the night. I was half asleep, and I hit a button, and I wiped out the 32 games that I had played. And they were 16 and 16. Okay, they were 500. So then I had to replay them, and they fell in a deep funk. I got all the way to 80 games waiting for them to get out of a funk, but they could not score. Okay, they could not score at all, really struggled to score. And if I had a lead going into the ninth inning, the bullpen would give up that lead and I'd lose 6-4 or 7-5 or something to that effect. So, and they're really good teams that, I'm learning a lot about 73. This is the upcoming year for Inside Pitch as well. So I wanted to kind of get to know the players a little bit more closely through these other games and their stats and so on. So I started with Fall Classic Baseball, and at the 80 game mark, I said I got to take a break because they were in a deep funk and I couldn't really, suffer through it that much anymore. So I said, let me get a fresh look at this through a fresh game and do a comparison to see how they would do with a more established game, a game that's been around longer. See what the differences are in the stats and how they approach a team like the Mets, who didn't really have a great record, right? So how are they going to do in our replays? I don't know anybody that's really had success with the Mets. I've talked to some people, and they really also struggled replaying the Mets season. They just don't have a powerhouse offense. They don't have a really impressive defense. They have a couple of top quality defenders, Hahn in center. They have Harrelson at short, Mian at second, but everybody else is iffy. You have Grody behind the plate. Not great arm, good enough arm, but anyway, they don't have and their pitching is good, but their bullpen isn't really all that great. So that's another issue that you're dealing with. If you get stuck with the third and fourth starters, you're good with Kuzman, Matlack, and Seaver, but once you get to your fourth and fifth starters, and they do have, fourth and fifth starters, you really run into some issues when they get in trouble early and you have to go to the bullpen. They have some guys in the bullpen that can hold their own, but they aren't lights out guys. Their closer, McGraw, not his best season for sure. Sure, had a very high ERA. So anyway, I switched over to, I looked around and I said, what do I have that's 73 that is an established game? I didn't have APBA, so I went with Strat-O-Matic. And, Strat-O-Matic is in the news right now, right? Strat-O-Matic is all over the news right now because they're coming out with their new retro season. They're going to tell us what it is. I think it was yesterday or today. I'm not sure. And they're going to release 2023. So, everybody's excited about that. And, of course, they had that short, that half-hour special on MLB, the MLB channel as well, where Bob Costas played a Strat-O-Matic game. So, I did have 1973 Strat-O-Matic, and I said, why not use 1973 Strat-O-Matic to replay the Mets and compare and contrast Fall Classic Baseball to Strat-O-Matic? So, I've been doing a lot of, playing to collect data, using, of course, I use Replay Baseball. That I find is the easiest and quickest to use to kind of keep my stats, and you can copy and copy the seasons, and you can replay seasons with 4 different games, right? You can play the season with Fall Classic Baseball. You can do it with Replay Baseball. You can do it with Strat-O-Matic. You can do it with APBA, and all going on at one time. So I have 2 1973 seasons going on at once. I'm at the 50 game mark with the Strat-O-Matic. I want to get to 80, so then I want to compare. They're also struggling somewhat with Strat-O-Matic, not as badly as they did with Fall Classic Baseball. So today I have a game between Rick Rushell and John Matlack. It is the Chicago Cubs visiting New York at Shea Stadium. We're in the top of the first inning, and let's see how it goes. It's going to be John Matlack versus Rick Monday. And let's have some fun and play some Strat-O-Matic, Tony Porter, Tabletop Baseball Digest style. All right, so let's get started. We are in the top of the first inning. It is Matlack on the mound. As you can see, the defense for the Mets in the outfield from left to right is Kranepool, Gosger, and Staub. These are the actual lineups. In the infield, it's Garrett, Martinez, Mian, and Milner. Now, Garrett is a 4 for Strat-O-Matic at third base. Martinez is a 4, so the left side of my infield is pretty bad. Kranepool is a 4 as well in left. These are the stats or the qualifications that you're seeing on the screen are the replay qualifications or qualities or abilities, right? Which are actually not all that bad. Mian is a pretty good second baseman. And Garrett is considered a pretty good third baseman. So I've seen some games consider Garrett a very good third baseman. Strat-O-Matic does not, so I really struggle at third base and at shortstop as well. So when Harrelson's out of the lineup, I'm in big trouble when the ball is hit to short, and outfield is not very good either. So anyway, that's one of the big problems that I'm having in replaying the 73 Mets is their defense is really not all that great. All right, so let's see just here quickly. Let's bring this up just a tad there, not too much. So you can see, and you know what, it gives some stats, but I think this is just because it's the beginning of the game. So there we go. So we have some stats, and for Rick Monday, and we have some stats for Matlack. He's 4-6 on the season, and let's play ball here. Just give me a second. I just want to. There we go. All right, let's start. Let's roll some dice. So let's roll 3 dice, and it's going to be a. Oh, this was another game I was playing. Okay, let's do that again. Let's start from scratch. All right, so it's going to be column 3 on Monday against Lefty, right? And that's going to be a 3, and that's a bouncer to second base. Mian takes care of that. And let's get out of here. Let's go to. There we go. And it's a 4-3. And you're going to see it goes pretty. It's easy to use replay baseball. So it's a ground out 4-3, and here is Glenn Becker. He's a right-handed hitter. And here is the pitch. It's a 1 against the lefty, and that's in his hit column. And a 7 is banged up the middle for a base hit. Gosger plays it, and that's Becker on a first base. It's early in the game. So I'll try to get the steal, see what happens. It's a 5. It actually falls in there. He's a 3, so I'm not going to go. Regardless, my guy's a +5, but then I have a -2 because I'm holding him. So now there's certain things I play here and certain things I don't, so don't freak out. I kind of do my own combination of basic, well not basic, but advanced and super advanced. All right, so now I am gonna roll now for the wild pitch or pass ball or balk. 11, that does not do it. So let's see who we got. Billy Williams, he's a lefty. So let's see if he handles him. A 2 and an 8. That's against the lefty, and an 8 is going to be ball 4. So Matlack loses him. So right off the bat, Matlack's in trouble. He allowed a couple of guys to reach base. There's only 1 out, and here's Jim Hickman now. Hickman, what's he doing on the season? Right, 207 with 3 home runs and 82 at bats. So I'm not going to worry about him. Although I believe he did not have a bad season. No, he didn't do anything that season. All right, but he is batting cleanup for the Cubs. So let's roll that D20, see if we fall to a 1. So we're gonna check a wild pitch. That's gonna be up to 5 and no wild pitch. Okay, so here goes, and it's gonna be a 5. That's gonna be off Matlack's card against a righty. So it's a 5 and an 11. That's a left field X. Oh boy. And I'm pretty sure that Kranepool is a 4 out there. Here's a 4E6. A 4E6. Okay, let's see what happens. And that is a 16. And a 16 is going to be a fly ball that he catches, but both runners are going to tag up. So I'm going to go to detail, fly ball, 7. So it's a drive in the gap end, crane pull all the way on the warning track. And tagging up is Beckert going to third, and Williams slides into second base ahead of the throw. So both runners move up. Now there's 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position with Ron Santo. Roll for the wild pitch, and here's the pitch for Santo. It's a 6 and a 4. So it's going to be off the pitcher. He's a righty. A 6 and a 4 is going to be, oh boy, ground ball third base X, and he is a 4. Garrett is a 4 at third base. That is trouble. And see what happens. And it's almost an automatic error. That's going to be the 10 on a 4. That's an automatic error practically. Garrett is a 30. So, I need to roll high. And I do, an 11. But an 11 is going to be a ground ball to Garrett, and he boots it. 1 run comes in. So this is the story that I told you earlier. The other run goes to third, and Santo is safe at first. So Garrett was eaten up by a hard ball with a hard shot that bounced in front of him, and he could not handle that. So Santo reaches on an error, run scores on that error, and Matlack is not showing it, but you know that inside he is not happy about that. So let's see, wild pitch. Oh, another 1 to 5, and that is going to be a ball that gets past Hodges. So Matlack spikes a fastball, and another run scores, and Santo goes to second. Cardinal takes a couple of swings and steps in the box again. We're going to roll again for another wild pitch, and a 3. He's not going to do it, and here's the pitch to Cardinal. It's a 5 against a righty, and a 7 is going to be a ground ball second base X. But the difference is that Mian is actually pretty good at second base. Mian is a 2, so we shouldn't run into any trouble, and we don't with a 19. That's a ground ball. And he flips it to Milner for the 3rd out, but a couple of runs come in. So the story of the season. Mets are already down by 2 in the 1st inning. Let's look at the box score to see both unearned runs, according to the game. And it's Wayne Garrett leading off against Rick Russell. Now, Russell, how's he doing? He's got a 3.41 ERA. He's 4-5 with a 1.3 WHIP. In reality, how did he do? 14-15 with a 3 ERA. And his whip, the card does not tell you the whip. So let's roll some dice here. Wayne Garrett bats from the left side. That's a 4. So that'll be off Russell. And it's a 6. Bounce to second base. Beckert over to Hickman for the 1st out. Next up is Felix Mian. Felix Mian batting .356. Yes, he is. He's one of the league leaders for sure. 1-9 against the righty. So that's going to be bounced up the middle, and Beckert gets there, plants, and throws out Mian by half a step, 2 away. And here comes Rusty Staub, who's gotten off to a slow start, batting .233 with 3 home runs, 236 at bats. And here's the pitch. And that is a 5 against the lefty, and a snake eyes is a drive to center field on the run is Monday, and Monday runs it down to retire the side. We go over to the other side with Ken Rudolph coming up against John Matlack here in the top of the 2nd. And that's a 6. He is a righty, so it's a 6 and a 9er, and that is a ground ball, and that's through the left side past the diving Martinez, who does not have great range. He is a 4. That wasn't a range play, but when the ball is hit to him, I struggle because he's also a 4 at shortstop. So it's going to be Kessinger, switch hitter. And we're going to roll for that wild pitch. Already Matlack's thrown 1. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be a 4 to a switch hitter. So he's batting from the right side, a 4 and a 10. And struck him out with the curveball. Big looping curveball by Matlack. Gets Kessinger out in front for the 1st out. Here's Russell. You know what he's doing. He's a C and he is bunting. And a 9 with a C is batter is safe. So, and that is catcher picks it up and whips it to Martinez at second. Throw to first, not in time for the double play. But they do get the lead runner. So that erases the advantage of the sacrifice bunt. It becomes a fielder's choice. And here is the top of the order with Rick Monday against John Matlack. 2 outs, runner at first. Let's throw that. I think I didn't throw the We'll do it again. And I'm bunt sometimes, I forget. 1-8 against a lefty. 1-8, and that's a potential home run. 1-6, so that's a deep drive to right field. Stop on the run towards the track, and that ball is gone. 2-run shot by Rick Monday. Ouch. So a 1-8 against a lefty is a 1-6 home run, and I roll a 1 again. And that's a 2-run shot, and that is Monday's 9th of the season. Monday must have had a good season. 73, 26 home runs. He did have an excellent season. 73. I know he played with the A's in 71 and 72 probably. I don't know when he came over to Chicago. He may have come over in 72. I'm not sure. So here's Becker now. So the Mets trail 4-0 with 2 outs. And that's a 2 and a 10. And that's bounced to Millan. Easy play. And that ends the inning. They come up with 2 big runs. They lead it 4-0. We go to the bottom of the second. Milner, who was out for a while, out for about 40 games. And that's a 4. He's a lefty, a 4 and a 7, and that's line. Base hit to right, played on a hop by Cardinal. So Milner's on at first, and he won't be going anywhere. Although +2, -2, 13, 3. I need a 3. Let's see if I can roll a 3 for it. Nope. Okay, so Kranepool. Kranepool's a good hit and run guy. So we're going to try a hit and run with Kranepool, and that's going to be a 4. And a hit and run on a 4. He's a B, is grounded to first base, so Milner will move up into scoring position. All right, so Gosger, Jim Gosger, a lefty. Let's roll this twice. I think we missed it with the hit and run. Okay, nothing, and here goes Jim Gosger, runner in scoring position. That's a 4. He's a lefty, a 4 and an 11. That's a fly ball left field X. Williams is in left field, and he's a 3. And that's a 17, and that's going to be a fly ball A, which allows Milner to advance. So a fly ball to left, and Milner advances to third with 2 outs. Gosger flies out, and here is Hodges. Do I have Hodges around? Or did I flip him by accident? I got to grab him. There's Hodges. Ron Hodges just joined the team recently. Throw that 20 for to see if there's a wild pitch or pass ball or balk. And here's the pitch to lefty hitting Hodges, a 6 and a 9, and struck him out. Blew a fastball by him, and that retires his side. So the Mets go down, leaving 1 on base and scoring none. They trail 4-0. We go to the top of the third. Billy Williams leads off against John Matlack, the left-hander, and that is a 3 and a 5, and that's bounced to first base. Milner takes it himself for the first out. Next is Hickman. And that's a 4. He's a righty, a 4 and an 8. And that is a drive in the gap. Is anybody going to get there? I don't know. And no, it gets all the way to the wall. Digging for second is Hickman. Here's the throw, and not in time. A leadoff double for Jim Hickman. And that is a 4 against the righty. It's a 4 and an 8 is a leadoff double with a 1 and a 2. Wow. That was a split. 1-2, and I rolled a 1. All right, so here's for the wild pitch. Nothing there, and who's up now? Let's see. Hickman. No, Santo's up. Hickman just got the double. What? Wait a second. Yeah, Hickman got the double, and now it's Santo. And that's going to be, I forgot to roll that. And that's a 5 against a righty, a 5 and a 9er, and that's a shortstop X. Oh, Jesus, he's a 4. And that's going to be a base hit, and runner will advance 2 bases, 5-0. Yikes. So how is Matlack's ERA in this replay? 92 innings, 15 starts, 382. 4-6 record. Here is Cardinal. So he's on the verge of trouble. Well, he's given up a bunch of runs. So he's actually fatigued by the Strat-O-Matic standards. So I will pull him very, very soon. And if there's any bullet next to any result, then I have to turn it into a hit. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't, but it's not the end of the world because sometimes I pull them a little bit fast too before they get to that point. So anyway, Cardinal is up. He's a righty. Let's roll for that wild pitch, pass ball. Nothing there. And here's the pitch. He's a righty, so it's a 5 and a 10. And that's a shortstop X again. Shortstop X with a 1, and that's a base hit. And heading over to third will be Santo. Yikes. Mama. Kenny Rudolph now. Rudolph is a backup catcher and first and third with only 1 out. Holy smokes. And the Mets are just 5-0. They're going to play in at the corners and back for a double play at up the middle. So let's see what happens. Here's the roll for the pitch, pass ball. Nothing there. And pitch to Ken Rudolph. That's going to be a 1 against a lefty, a 1 and an 8. And that's bounced to third. And a B, they're going to go home, and Santo's going to be thrown out at home. That's a 5-2. Now, the way I play that, with 1 out, he goes. And with nobody out and not forced, he stays at third base. That's one of my rules that I play for both teams. Unless it's late in the game, it's a tie game, and there's a special situation, I may, kind of override that. But usually do not override that. Okay, so here's Kessinger, 2 outs now, first and second. They were able to get the out at home, Santo out at home. So let's roll for the wild pitch, nothing there, and the pitch from Matlack to Kessinger, who's batting from the right side. That's going to be a 2 and a 6, and that's hit hard at Martinez, who's going to flip to Mian for a 6-4 put out, and that ends the inning. They pick up another run. Yes, believe it or not, another run. And they lead at 5-0 here in the bottom of the third. The Mets are taking a little bit of a beating here early on, and it's going to be Ted Martinez, a 2 and 11 against the righty, a 2 and 11, and that's bounced to third. Santo rifles it to first for the out, and here is Matlack. He will back. And that is going to be, he's a lefty batter. It's a 5 and a 4, and that's ball 4, so he walks. So Matlack helping his own cause by getting on base, and it's Wayne Garrett. Oh, a 1, and Russell with a 9 wild pitch, and nope, no wild pitch. And here's the swing. It's a 6. He's a lefty, a 6 and an 8, and that's going to be a ball hit to Beckert, who's going to flip to Kessinger, and going in hard is Matlack. So no throw to first. It's a 4-6 fielder's choice. Mian is up next. Let's throw that D20. Nope. And it's a 5 against the righty, a 5 and a 7, and that's a drive in the gap, and Monday on the run, and Monday tracks it down. So Mian hit it on the nose, but it hung up there enough for Monday, who got a good jump on that ball, read it well off the bat, was able to catch up to it. Here's Russell, and he will be batting against John Matlack. Hopefully Matlack can get him out. It's a 2 and a 5, and struck him out. Fastball blew a fastball right by him. Here's Rick Monday. So Matlack now is even tired for replay. See, when he turns red, he's tired there as well. So he's tired on both sides. Here's the pitch to Monday, and that's going to be a 3 and a 4, and that's going to be a ground ball, and that's Mian in the hole, and he makes the throw to get Monday, who's hustling down the line. Just beat him by half a step. Glenn Beckert now with 2 outs, so easy inning, and that's going to be a 6 against the righty, a 6 and a 9er, and that is a ball that's tapped over Martinez's head, and Gosger cuts it off in the outfield to keep Beckert to a single. So it's a 2-out single for Beckert, and Beckert will not try to steal. He can try to steal. Let's see. No. All right, so we're not going to worry about that. Let's roll for the 3. No, that's nothing. Here's Billy Williams, left-handed hitter. The pitch, and that's a 6 and a 6. Struck him out, and that retires the side. So Matlack gets through 3 innings, actually gets through 4 innings, and we're in the bottom of the 4th, and leading off is Rusty Staub. Let's get a hit for Rusty, and that is a 1 and a 10, and that's popped up middle infield, shortstop by the second base bag. Kessinger puts it away. Next is John Milner. Milner That's lefty batting 287 on the season. That's a 4 and a 5. And that's a drive to right field. Cardinal on the run, and Cardinal comes up with a nice running catch by Jose Cardinal off that drive, off the bat of the hammer. John Milner. Here's Kranepool. And he bats from the left side. He's batting 208 in 144 at bats with no home runs. Here's the pitch, and that is a 3 against the righty, a 3 and a 5, and that's a drive. That could be trouble, potential triple on a 1-4, but no, it's going to get cut off by Monday, and Kranepool is on with a single. So base hit single, and that brings up Gosger. Going to roll at D20. And here's a pitch. It's a 4 and an 8, so that's going to be off the pitcher card against a lefty, and an 8. That's going to be ball 4. He loses them. Gosger showing good patience. And here's Hodges. And the pitch. And that is a 4. Hodges is a lefty, a 4 and a 4. That's a catcher X, and that I make that an automatic foul out or pop up to the catcher simply because I'm rolling for catcher errors already. So I don't do double catcher errors. So that's the way I'm doing that. So actually, I'm ignoring the pass balls. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Okay. So hold on a second. I have to ignore the pass balls. Let me look at the catchers real quick here. Yeah, they have an E3, and hold on, let me get my brain going. Yeah, I rolled for the catcher and it was a 1. Okay, so no error on the catcher, and it's going to be Hickman leading off here in the top of the 5th inning. Matlack is still in there. I need to get at least 5 or 6 innings out of him. I just can't pull him immediately. My bullpen. I need to keep it intact somewhat. So let's see if he can get through this inning. If he gets in trouble, I will pull him right now. So just be aware of that. Kind of how I do it. All right. Here's a pitch, and that's a 1 and a 5. And that is Hickman, a 1 and a 5, and that's a walk. So I'm going to pull Matlack. And let me take a quick peek at, he's due up next inning. So I'm going to have to do a double switch, and I will bring in a new center fielder. It will be Don Hahn. He will bat. And then my new pitcher will be 18 games, 29, 7 out of 24. Buzz Capra will come in and pitch. And that's a double switch. That's pretty quick. And let's bring in both those players. Let's bring in Buzz Capra as a right-handed pitcher. Let's see if we can track him down with all the stuff I have here. All right, Buzz Capra. Now, if you notice, the team that I'm playing every day, the Mets, I have them protected with sleeves, because those are the ones I'm handling all the time. I hardly touch these guys. This other team, I play them maybe 10 times or 12 times, and they change players, so I don't handle the same guys all, for the 162 games, so I don't bother to sleeve those. But you can get these sleeves pretty cheaply. Don't get them on eBay. They're expensive on eBay. Okay, so I'm going to grab Don Hahn, and he will be taking over in center field for that double switch, and he will be batting 9th. All right, so it's going to be Hickman walks. Ron Santo is up, and Santo didn't bunt very much, so he's not going to bunt. Here's the pitch from Buzz Capra, and that's a 6 and an 11. He's a righty, so an 11 is going to be a swing and a miss. Blows a fastball by Santo for a strikeout, 1 away. Here's Jose Cardinal. Here's the pitch, and that is a 3 and an 8, and that's a hard hit ball to Garrett, who goes to Mian for 1. Back to first in time. Round the horn, 5-4-3, double play. go to the bottom of the fifth. Ted Martinez. Oh, I wonder if I called him Tippy. Ted Martinez leads off against Rick Russell. Rick Russell can go 7. Uh-oh. That's trouble. They're going bananas. All right, so we're back to the game. It's Ted Martinez leading off. And I'm not sure if I roll or not. I may have rolled. It doesn't matter. Rolling again. It's going to be a 3 and a 7 against a righty, and that is tap right back to the mound. And that's out number 1. Han is up. He was just part of a double switch, so he came in. And that's a 2 and an 11. A 2 and 11. That's popped up. Left side, Santo in fair territory, backing up on the grass, and he pulls it in for out number 2. So the Mets so far have managed only 2 hits, as usual. Mets don't have a great offense. Every so often they'll go on a tear, but otherwise it's a desert. It's a hit desert. 6. A lefty, a 6 and a 5, and that is a shortstop X. Kessinger is a 2, and that is going to be a 6 on a 2 shortstop, and that's a ball that he gobbles up and throws a strike over to first, and that retires the side. So they're pumped up. There must be a cat outside or something, but I'm not going to worry about that. So Rudolph is up. So Rudolph is up against Buzz Cabra. Let's do it. Here's a pitch, and that's a 1 and a 12, and that's, gets hit in the back. Ouch. And Rudolph heads to first base, and he's taking his time. The trainer and the manager come out to see how Rudolph is doing. He was hit right in the back, between the shoulder blades, and Capra rubbing the fresh baseball. Here's Kessinger now, and Rudolph, not a bad runner. He's 1 to 11, not terrible. And but I do have the pitcher coming up, who's going to bat. So I'm going to let Kessinger bat. Now he's not a bad hit and run guy, so I'll do a hit and run, even though I don't like to do that with guys that don't steal any bases. So, okay, a hit and run. Double runners advance 3 bases. Holy smokes. I rolled a snake eyes, and under a B, hit and run. That's going to be a drive down the line. Will Staub get there? No, it's past Staub and into the corner. And Rudolph, who was off with the delivery, he's going to be waved around, and that's going to be an RBI double for Kessinger on a astute hit and run by the Cubs manager. So now it's going to be Russell coming up, and he is going to square. He is going to bunt, and that's going to be an 11. Ooh, I don't think that's a good bunt. He's a C. An 11 is not. It's better. Pops it up to the first baseman. Milner is there to haul it in, so it's a pop 3 on that bunt attempt, and that's going to bring up Rick Monday. And we got to do this twice because I think I forgot to do it on the bunt attempt. And here's the pitch. It's a 1 and an 8 against the righty, and an 8 is going to be a deep drive to right field. This could be Monday's second home run of the day. It's almost guaranteed. 1 to 19, and it's a 20, and that's going to be off the top of the wall. And holy smokes, and coming around to score easily is Kessinger, and Monday is digging for third. The relay from beyond, the tag by Garrett, and he is out. No! Garrett had the ball roll out of his glove, and Monday is safe with a triple. Ouch. So Monday kicked the glove and loosened the ball. The ball rolled out, and Garrett is talking to the umpire, but Monday is safe with an RBI triple. Yikes. So they're beating up on Capra here. Capra has got a 1.46 ERA, so he can handle it. And we're going to roll for that wild pitch. Nothing, and it's Becker with nobody out. The Mets are going to play down 7-0. They're going to play the infield in 1 and a 6 against the righty, and a 6 is going to be a drive, and that's in the gap. Will Hahn get there? I don't know, and no, and that's going to be by him to the wall, and Monday scores easily. Digging for second is Becker to throw in from Hahn, not in time, and another extra base hit. So we've had a double, a pop-up, a triple, and another double, and a hit by pitch. So Capra is going to come out. He is really struggling. Let's see when he is due. Okay, there's no pitcher due up, so in an 8-0 game, we're going to let Capra try to get another out here against Billy Williams. Actually, you know what? We're going to walk Billy Williams intentionally to face Jim Hickman. So at least maybe we can get a ground ball double play, get out of this horrible inning. And that's a 2, so we got to roll, and that's a 1. That's going to be a potential balk. Yeah, no balk, so we don't have to worry about. I do 1, 2, 3 balk and 4, 5, 6 catcher error. So that's why I don't check the error on the other side. Actually, it's a pass ball. Yeah, not a catcher error, pass ball. Okay, so anyway, blah, blah, blah. So we are going to roll for Hickman, but that one was on the 4 throws to the catcher for the intentional walk, and this will be the next one. And here's the pitch to Jim Hickman. Let's see what happens. And that's going to be a 3 against a righty. A 3 and a 7 is a ball 4, so he walks the bases loaded. Wow. Okay, Capra can't do squat right here, so we're gonna have to go to the bullpen. Let's call on guy 18 of 30, 18 of 29. So I got 2 guys. I got McAndrew. McAndrew he will start in 3 games, so let's bring in Parker. But can Parker then go 7, 8, and 9? I see, that's the thing. I don't want Parker to have to go that long, and I don't want to bring in a second pitcher either. So I'm going to leave Capra in there against Santo. I just need him to get a ground ball for the double play. Let's see if he can do that. Come on. It's a 4. So 4 against a righty, a 4 and a 10, and that's going to be a catcher X. So we will roll to see if it's a catcher error of 14. My catcher is a 2, I believe. A 14 is a pass ball, but pass balls I'm doing on an individual basis, so it's going to be a pop-up. And that's right by the pitcher's mound, but Hodges grabs it. And Capra gets out of the way. So Santo pops it up in front of the plate, between the pitcher's mound and the plate. And Hodges calls everybody off and makes the catch. And 2 outs, and it's Cardinal now with a right-handed hitter. And a 2. So we're going to see if there's a pass ball. And a balk, there's no balk potential. So here's the pitch. And that's a 1 and a 4. 1 and a 4. Okay, a 1 and a 4 is trouble. Now that's a deep drive to left field. And let's see what's going to happen here. We're going to roll it. So 1 to 4 is 1 to 5. Oh wait, 1 to 4 on Cardinal is a 1 to 11 home run and a 12 to 20 double with the bases loaded, I believe. Let's clear this up. Oh, I needed that actually. I had to get out of this one. Okay, so the bases are loaded and Cardinal drives one to left field. It's Kranepool on the run. Let's see what's gonna happen here. And that ball is gonna be 1 hop off the wall. And how many will score? It's okay. It's gonna be Hahn taking over on that throw. And Hahn is a +1. So the runner at first is Hickman, and I will try to score him. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Hickman is a 1 to 9, so that'll make him, there's 2 outs, so that'll make him a 10. I don't know the negatives on that, but Hahn is a +1, so that'll make him an 11. So 1 to 11, here's the throw to the plate, and he is safe. So that's a bases clearing double for Cardinal. Ouch. Holy smokes. So let's look at the box score. Okay. And Capra's been tattooed. His ERA went from a 1 to a 4.26. He's given up 6 runs in 1.2 innings, and he cannot get anybody out. And it's Rudolph the catcher. Ken Rudolph. Holy smokes. And Capper is now tired. Well, he was tired a long time ago anyway. And we're going to see if he can get out of the inning. 13, that's nothing. And a 2 and an 8. 2 and an 8 is going to be lined and caught by Martinez, and that finally ends the inning. But the Cubs come up with another 6 runs, 11 to nothing. Holy smokes, what an exciting game. All right, Felix Mian is up. Pitch from Russell. And that's a 2 and a 10, and that's bounced to third. Santo throws him out. Next up is Stott. Stott with a 4. 4 and an 8 is a ball 4, walks him. So Stott takes a base on balls, gets on base, and see if there's nothing there. Here's a pitch to John Milner, a 6. A 6 and a 6, and that's line. Base hit to right, stopping at second base will be Staub. Ed Kranepool is up. Pitch from Russell, and that's a 6 and a 4. Another lefty and a 4. It's going to be a ground ball, shortstop X. He's a 2 shortstop, and that's a 6, and that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. That ends the inning. So Kessinger grabs it, flips to Beckert, over to Hickman, and that's a 6-4-3 double play. We go to the top of the 7th inning, and we're going to have Kessinger up. We're going to get a new pitcher for the Mets. It's going to be, hopefully I can get Parker through. McAndrew could do 1 inning. We'll get McAndrew to do 1 inning if you can, and then we'll bring in Parker for 2. Just don't want to wipe out my whole bullpen. So Jim McAndrew will come in. And he will face Don Kessinger back from the left side. A 2 and a 6. And that's going to be a bouncer to short. Martinez up with it. High throw, but nice stretch by Milner. And here's Russell. But that's off of McAndrew. 5 and 8. And that's a drive. And that's a little ball that carries, the wind takes it and it drops in, and into second base is Russell with a double. Holy smokes. It's a 5 against a righty. 5-8. Yep. It's a double. So Russell is on at second base with 1 out, and that brings up Monday. So we're going to throw that for the wild pitch. Nothing there. McAndrew not had a good season. He's got almost an 8 ERA and 9 starts. That's a 2-6. Can't wait to get rid of him until he disappears from the roster. That's a 2-6 and a 1-4 single. Otherwise, it's a grounder to short. And it's going to be a ground ball to short. And the runner will hold on that. That's pretty much automatic. I don't know if I ever, it's like 90% on the left side that runners hold. So I just usually just play it straight up that runners hold when it's to the left side. I'm sorry, to the right side they advance automatically with me. Glenn Beckert. Let's throw that D20. And let's look at the box score to see how these guys are doing. Beckert's got 3 hits today and an RBI, 2 runs scored. So the top of the lineup, Monday, Beckert, Williams, and Hickman have 8 runs scored, and they've reached base 9 times. 4 times on walks. Holy smokes, here's the pitch. And that's a 1 and a 7. And that's going to be a base hit center field and stopping at third, because I just want to move along here, is Russell. Here's a wild pitch, roll, and Billy Williams with a 5. A 5, he's a lefty, so it's going to be a 5 and a 9er, and that's a fly ball, and that's to left. Will Kranepool get there? Yes. Tracks it down. So McAndrew gets out of that inning, thank God. No run score, bottom of the 7th here at Shea, so it's a 7th inning stretch. At Shea Stadium, McAndrew leads off. We just wanted him for 1 inning. He's starting in a couple of games, so we're going to bring in Boswell. He's a lefty. It's a pinch hit. Kenny Boswell. right. Pitch from Russell. It's a 1 and an 11. That's oh, this is a ballpark. That's my first ballpark symbol. And where is my ballpark chart? Ah, there it is. New York is one righty. He's a lefty. It's 1 to 6. A lefty is a 1 to 6, and it's lined, and it's caught by Beckert. L4. So I do play ballpark effects. Here's Hodges now. Pitch from Russell, and that's a 3 and a 3. And that's going to be bounced to first base now, plus injuries, so that's going to get me to pull Hodges. That's how I play that. And it's a bouncer to Hickman, and he plays it, but looks like Hodges is hobbling, so they're going to get the equipment on somebody else in the Mets dugout. Who else is there? Duffy Dyer will get the equipment on quickly. Looks like Hodges is going to go into the training room, and it's Ted Martinez. Ted Martinez. And a 1 and a 10, and that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. So Martinez batting 240, or not really. Wait a second. I'm not going to worry about what he was batting. Don Hahn is up. He's batting 240. Started off struggling, but he's picked it up a little bit. He's got it up to 240 now. I think it's in my other replay that he's batting like 126 or something like that. So, here's a wild pitch, and here's Don Hahn. That's a 4. He's a righty, and that's a 4 and a 10, and that's a fly ball center field X. Monday is a 2. So let's see what happens. It's a 6. Monday's a 2 and a 6, and he runs it down for the 3rd out. Top of the 8th, excuse me. Top of the 8th. Mets need a new pitcher. And who are they gonna call? They're gonna call Hennigan. Phil Hennigan. He's got a 5.32. Is it Phil? A 5.32 ERA. Yep, Phil Hennigan. In reality, he had a 6.26 ERA. He was terrible as well. Those are the guys out of my bullpen, and he's going to face Hickman here. Hopefully he can get a 1, 2, 3 in. And that's going to be a 6. 6 against a righty and a 10 is ground ball shortstop. Oh, boy. My shortstop is my 7, and he's a 4, and that's going to be a ball that he gets to. Back up on his feet. Throws a strike. And, wow, a nice play by Ted Martinez. Miracle play. On a 7, on a 4. It's a ground ball C. Just made it. Here's Ron Santa. And that's a 6. He's a righty. A 6 and an 11. That's to the pitcher. Pitcher error rating is E34. So it's most likely it's an error. Oh, I almost had it. Okay, I almost had a ground out. So the pitcher is a 3, but it's like 1 to 3 and 1 to 17 on pitchers. Yeah, 1 to 3 to 18 to 20. Anything in between is going to be an error. At E34 is going to be almost guaranteed error here. And that is a 9er, and that's going to be he boots it. So Hennigan, a tapper back to Hennigan. He drops it, picks it up, drops it again. And Santo is safe. Yikes. All right, so Santo's on at first, 1 out. Here's Cardinal. Throw for the wild pitch. Nothing. The pitch from Hennigan. It's a 5. So that's off the pitcher. He's a righty, a 5 and a 6, and that is hit to Milner, who goes to Martinez, and Santo goes in hard, breaks it up. So it's a 3-6 fielder's choice. Ken Rudolph comes up. Oh, and that's a potential wild pitch up to 14, and he spikes one. Goes all the way to the backstop, moving to second is Cardinal. Here we do it again. Another wild pitch roll, and the pitch. It's a 6 to Rudolph, a 6 and a 4, and that's a fly ball center field X. Now Hahn is a 2. Let's see, a 17, and Hahn is going to run that down. He does. He runs it down to end the inning. Woo-hoo! Can't believe that. Okay, so what do we have here? Wayne Garrett is up. bottom of the 8th inning. Wayne Garrett, Russell can go 7, so he's past his point of weakness, so we have to start tallying for him. In his last opportunity, he just gave up a single, so he still is okay. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Let's do it. Let's get through this game. And that is a 6. He's a lefty, so it's a 6 and a 10. And that's bounced to third base. Santo, I don't know what Santo is, but we'll see. Santo is a 2, E23, a 2, third base with a... that's a 3. That's going to be a base... No, he makes a nice pickup and short hop and fires the first in time. So 2. I said he was a 2, right? He does make that play, so 2 is pretty good in Strat-O-Matic. 5-3 for the first out. And next is Felix Mian. Mian is batting .351, gets hits all the time. 5. Dice love him. 5 and a 4, and that's going to be a 1-6 off the 1-6, and that's lined and caught by the shortstop Kessinger. So it's ripped off the sweet spot, but right at Kessinger. And that is 2 outs. And here's Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub walked, batting .231. Here's the pitch. Try to get a hit for him. A 1 and a 5, and that's going to be a bouncer up the middle, and Kessinger gets there. Throws to first in time. 1-5 is a 6-3, and that takes us to the top of the 9th inning. So Hennigan is still in there. Hopefully he can get through this inning against Kessinger. Here's a pitch, and that is, he's batting from the left side, so that's a 4 and a 7, and that's ball 4. He walks, takes his base, and Russell can go 9 because his point of weakness is 7. Oh, I don't know if he can go 9. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, he has to be able to go 9 because that doesn't make any sense. So he's still good to go 9. So we're going to just, in a game like this, we're going to let him. He's only given up 4 hits today. So we're going to let him bunt. Actually, no, we'll let him swing away. And here's the pitch, and that's a 2 and a 4, and that's a strikeout. So he goes down on strikes. And next is Rick Monday. Hennigan checks for the sign. He sets and deals a 3 and an 11, and that's going to be right back to Hennigan, who goes to Martinez, back to first, not in time, so it's a 1-6 fielder's choice. Monday's on at first, and here's Beckert. Beckert's got 3 hits, and the pitch, and that is a 1 and a 12, and that's bounced to third, and Garrett going to go to second for the force. Retires the side, and it's the last licks for the Mets, bottom of the 9th. They trail 11-0. 11 runs, 13 hits, no errors for Chicago. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Mets. And the fans have vanished from the seats, and it's just a couple of diehards cheering the Mets on here in an 11-0 game. And most the fans headed out after that 6-run 6th inning. That made the score 11-0, and we're in an empty stadium practically here. We can hear the echo from the booth. All right, let's see Johnny Milner. He's up, bats from the left side. Milner batting .289, 13 home runs. That's a 4 and an 11. He's having an excellent season. A 4 and an 11 is going to be a fly ball left field X. What did we say Williams was? I think we said he was a 3, and that's going to be a 1, and that's going to be a drive to the opposite field, and Williams, it's going to not get to that ball, and that ball bounces away from him. Digging for second is Milner with a double. So that's a 4 and a 10. 4 and a 10 against the... Okay, 4 and a 10, and that is... Oh, that was it center field X? Ooh, center field X. And Monday. Okay, so Monday... Monday is 2 in center field, so let's see if that changes anything. No, it's still a double with that 1. And it's going to be Eddie Kranepool. So Kranepool comes up. And the pitch, it's a 2 and a 7 against a lefty, and that's going to be a fly ball center field. They give the Milner an option to tag up, but he will not be tagging up. Next is the pitcher, so we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. We got no lefties, so it'll be Bokamp. Oh, you know what? I forgot that I never brought in the catcher. That's okay. Let me see what happened so far. A double and a fly out. Yeah, I can back up. Double, a fly out, and a ground out to third base. Double and a fly out and a ground out to third base. I'm backing up here. Double and a fly out. Let me just write that down. Much easier to make sure that I don't screw it up. Double fly out and a ground out to third base. So there's 5-4. Double and a fly out. See, there you go. All right. So let me go one more. Back one. To bring in that catcher. Oh no. Hodges is still in there. What did I think? Oh, because I wanted to pull Hodges because of the injury. Okay, no worries. So there it is. So all right. So with Becker, it is a 5-4, and that takes us to the next inning. And then it was a double for Milner, and it was a fly out to center for Cranepool, and now it's going to be a pinch hitter, and it's going to be Bokamp, as we said. So we're good. It's all good in the hood, as they say. All right, and Bokamp against Russell, who we're trying to keep in there. See if we can get out of this mess. A leadoff double, 4-6 against a righty. So a 4-6 is a swing and a miss by Bokamp. He goes down, swinging, goes down on strikes. So Russell went back for a little extra and blew it by Bokamp, who is coming into pinch hit, and it's going to be Duffy Dyer, who just got switched in the last inning because of an injury to Hodges. And here's a roll for it could be a wild pitch, and 1-9 wild pitch, and a lot of wild pitches in this game, no? And here goes the pitch to Duffy Dyer, and that's a 2 and a 10 against a righty, and that's a potential 1-11 base hit, and that's going to be that's going to be a line drive and caught by Kessinger to end the game. L6, and that's the final. Wow, what a exciting game! 11-0. 11 runs, 13 hits, no errors. The Mets, typical bumbling Mets of the 73 team that made it to the World Series and almost beat the powerhouse, the Dynasty A's, who had a much better team, and how the Mets did it just because it was a series where they were able to keep on pitching, Seaver and Matlack and Kuzman and so on and so forth, and they took it to 7 games. But Russell wins it 5-5. John Matlack 4-7. So he takes the loss. He absorbs the loss, and he had a rough start for sure. Let's look at that rough start. Matlack gave up 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned. So his ERA goes to 3.75. Capra, oh my goodness, in 2 innings he gave up 6 earned runs. Andrew came in with it for an inning and gave up 2 hits, but got through it. And Hennigan pitched 2 innings. He lowered his ERA to 4.88. And let's see, for the Mets, who got the hits for the Mets? 3 hits for Johnny Milner today. 1 hit for Cranepool and 1 hit for shortstop Martinez, filling in for the injured Buddy Harrelson. Yeah, 4 hits for Beckert, 4 for 6, batting .246 on the season. That was the big start. Cardinal had a big bases clearing double. He went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs, batting .275. And that's about it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed my version of how I play Strat-O-Matic. Definitely, I think I do my own thing in certain ways, right? And I just kind of keep going, moving it along, and that's about it. So this is Tony Porter for Tabletop Baseball Digest, and I'm trying to get the Strat-O-Matic 73 team to 80 games, and then I can do a compare and contrast on, the records for the Mets between my Fall Classic 73 replay and my Strat-O-Matic 73 replay. And I'm even thinking of doing a second season? Yeah, I think it's second season. right? Replay as well. So I have the first series cut out here, but I don't know. I don't want to wipe myself out. So I want to get to 80 games with the 2 different games and 2 designs, and then see what happens from there. And then I'll measure. I may do a replay. I may do a 73 replay. I may do a 73 replay baseball game, or a 1973 second season. Is it called second season? I don't even know what it's called, to be honest with you. So anyway, this is Tony Porter. As I said, remember, like and subscribe my channel, and check through a lot of my videos. I have I think a lot of informative stuff. Have not been playing a lot of new games, and I kind of been plotting through these games where they're not always the most exciting games. So I've kind of cut back on some of the presentations, but I will continue to do them every so often during the course of the new year. I hope everybody is well, and be safe, and have a great 2024. Take care, guys.